Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Salam from France. Welcome everyone to MACFEST 2023, wherever you're joining us from. Let us know in the chat where you're watching us from. My name is Katarzyna, I'm a member of the MACFEST team. And today we've got a really exciting event together with Mohammed Bin Rashid Library in Dubai. And our host for today is Harmesh Manghra. Harmesh comes from India, and he's completed his master's degree in English literature in Punjab. And then in 1977, he came to the UK. And he spent a short time in retail and service industries. And then he trained as a teacher of ESOL, mainly for the Asian workers. And after 18 years of teaching English to teaching ESOL and multicultural education, he then became acting principal of the adult college in the West Midlands. Since 2001, Harmesh worked as an inspector, first with the Adult Learning Inspectorate, and then since 2013, he joined Ofsted as one of Her Majesty's Inspector, inspecting the whole range of training institutions and programs, including further education colleges, apprenticeships, and adult learning. After retiring from Ofsted in August 2020, he took up the position of a director of change and quality enhancement at the local further education college to put his experience as an inspector to good use to improve learners' experience. And then in June 2023, he was appointed as a governor at the Leicester College. His passion are literature and further education to transform people's lives. Apart from being fluent in Punjabi and Hindi speaker, he's going to tell you a little bit more about it. He speaks multiple languages to converse with the main Southeast Asian diaspora. So I hope you're going to enjoy today's event. Before I hand over to Harmesh, I just wanted to ask you to share your comments, put your questions in the chat or in the Q&A portal, share your thoughts. We do want to connect with you during the event. And on behalf of MACFEST, thank you so much for all your generous donations. They help us create these wonderful events for you. Most of them are free. We still have a couple of events as part of MACFEST 2023, so please join our newsletter, follow us on Eventbrite, and stay connected also on social media. We are on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and TikTok, and do use our hashtag #SpreadHoneyNotHate. Over to you, Harmesh.
Thank you, Katarzyna. That's a wonderful introduction. Thank you very much. I'm really delighted to be hosting this event. I've been involved with MACFEST for 2-3 years now. I guess as a dear friend of mine, she wrote me in, but I'm delighted to welcome David HIRSCH, who is the advisor to Mohammed Bin Rashid Library in Dubai, United Arab Emirates. David served as a librarian for Middle Eastern, Central Asian, South Asian, and Islamic Studies at the University of California in Los Angeles from 1989 to 2018. He is a distinguished librarian and was named as the Librarian of the Year at the UCLA in 2013. He's got lots of degrees, including MA in Middle Eastern Studies and Library Science from University of Chicago in 1990. He's got BA in Oriental Studies, man of many talents. Since arriving at UCLA, he's worked closely with UCLA's Middle Eastern print collection, as well as the Islamic manuscript collection. So he is the man to talk about spread honey, not hate. He's worked as a special coordinator at the UEE University Zayed Central Library in 1993 to 94 and 99 to 2000. He also served as the chief librarian and then libraries advisor at the Abu Dhabi National Library from 2001. In other words, if there is anything to know about libraries, he's the man to go to. He's been a member of the Islamic Manuscript Association since 2006. He served as a board member and chair of the association cataloging committee. He's a 3-time past president of the Middle Eastern Librarian Association and was 2016 recipient of the David H. Partington Award for services to professional Middle Eastern librarianship. His special interest is in his Middle Eastern diaspora communities and their literatures, as well as the new genres of Middle Eastern literature, such as the zines, graphic novels, comics, and manga. He comes from Philadelphia, USA. Thank you. Over to you, David.
Thank you very much, Harmesh. Assalamu alaikum and good afternoon from Dubai. It's a pleasure to be here with you. This is my first involvement with MACFEST and hopefully not the last. I wanted to talk to you this afternoon about the Mohammed Bin Rashid Library in Dubai. We're just a little over a year old now. The library was established by His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, the Vice President and Prime Minister of the UAE and the ruler of Dubai. And the foundation of the library was announced in 2016. The total expenditures for the building amounted to 1 billion dirhams, UAE. The building is built in the shape of a rahal. Rahal is the Quran stand, and it's the traditional wooden bookrest, and it's mostly used to hold the Holy Quran. The library's total built area is 54,000 square meters, and we have over 1 million electronic and printed books. The library was launched as part of the Spreading Education and Knowledge section within Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum's global initiatives. And the capacity for visitors is about 1,000 visitors simultaneously. So we can't have an unlimited number of people, but 1,000 at one time is pretty good. So we have over 1.1 million printed and digital books in Arabic and Western languages. I think probably about half of those are in English, but we have about 60 other languages as well. And we have access to over 6 million doctoral dissertations electronically. We have about 73,000 musical scores, and we have access to about 75,000 videos, for mostly documentaries and cultural videos. We also have about 500 rare books and manuscripts, and I'll be talking to you mostly about those today. And we have a large collection of printed and digital historical periodicals archiving over 325 years of history. And we have about 35,000 printed and digital journal titles from all over the world. Now, our library is a library of libraries. We have 10 libraries within our building. We're 9 floors, but we have 10 libraries, and I'll talk to you a little bit about those. We have our general library. We have our Emirates library, which is everything about and published in the United Arab Emirates. We have a young adult library. We have a children's library. We have our map and atlas library. We have a media and art library, which includes the art, architecture, and music, and design, and photography, everything relating to the fine arts. We also have a special business library, and we have a periodicals library, which is where we house all of our magazines and newspapers. We also have our information center, which is a reference library where we have our dictionaries, encyclopedias, and electronic access to different reference tools. Then the crown jewel of our library is the Treasures of the Library, and that's what I'm going to be talking to you mostly about today. The Treasures of the Library exhibition displays a fascinating collection of rare and old books, both Western and Middle Eastern and Islamic. We have atlases, manuscripts, and documents, some of them dating back to as far as the 8th century. Our collection includes unique manuscripts of the Holy Quran, early printed editions of Arabic and Western literary classics, Latin translations of scholarly work from the Islamic Golden Age, as well as rare Arabic periodicals from the Arab world and the Arab diaspora. Among the rare exhibited items are the first edition of Blau's Atlas Major, and the first edition of Napoleon Bonaparte's Description de l'Égypte from the 18th century, which includes it's an encyclopedic register of Egyptian landmarks and archaeology. Also outside, we have something very interesting called the Languages Garden, and it's part of the library's outdoor facilities, celebrating the wisdom of His Highness Sheikh Mohammed Bin Rashid Al Maktoum, the Vice President and Prime Minister of the United Arab Emirates and ruler of Dubai. That includes about 60 pillars, which display 170 different languages of quotes relating to His Highness Mohammed bin Rashid's visions on leadership, government, nation building, learning, and knowledge. We have also special services for people of determination, which is the term used here in the UAE for people with disabilities, but here we use something much more positive, people of determination. So we have books and other resources available in Braille and other tools to give people with autism and other challenges pleasant experience in our library. We have a dedicated quiet space for people of determination and those with suffering from autism. We have also all kinds of technological innovations available in our library. We have the latest artificial intelligence and library technologies available worldwide, including an automated storage area for our books where we can store nearly 1 million printed books, and they're available in 5 to 10 minutes. If you request something, it's available in 5 to 10 minutes. We also have self-service booths for checkout and check-in of books. We have a book digitization lab. We have smart robots, which can answer questions and also deliver books to you in different sections of the library. We have different virtual reality apps available and other advanced technologies. The building is eco-friendly, and it was designed to increase periods of self-shading as much as possible and to help reduce thermal retention from the sun's rays. The library acquires 10% of its energy needs from solar panels, which are installed on the roof of the building. The exterior was designed to insulate the interior, reduce heat retention, and help regulate the building's interior environment. The library receives natural lighting thanks to the building's roof windows. The library was designed to reduce garden irrigation consumption by 50%, as well as reuse water gathered from air conditioning units to water green areas. The library is located at a central location within the city, which allows easy access via public transportation or by foot, thus reducing its environmental footprint caused by energy consumption and greenhouse gas emissions. Okay, so that's my introduction. And now, did you already show the whole presentation? Okay, so where should we? Okay, now you did the virtual tour already? Okay, so now we're going to have a virtual tour of the library. I just gave you a brief introduction. Now we'll see the actual building. So there's what I was telling you about. It's shaped like a book rest, rahal or a Quran rest. Okay. Okay. This is the library again from the front view, and there on the left we just passed the languages garden. So there was a colorful area there, right to the right. Those are each one of those pillars has 3 different languages on it, and those include the quotes from His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid, talking about work ethics and just positive attitude and happiness, all of Sheikh Mohammed's priorities. So now we're going to look at some of the different floors. This is the ground floor, and I especially like the wood up above. It gives the library, in addition to the technology, it also has a warm feeling, the wood, I think. So the first library we'll see is the children's library. We have about 20,000 volumes in there in different languages. Majority are English and Arabic, but we also have the robots that I mentioned before. So people can ask the robot questions. They can also listen to children's stories. And in general, the robot was sleeping, unfortunately. So did you see him? Did you see him there earlier, sleeping? Okay, now we also have an interactive screen in the back there, which includes interactive children's stories in both English and Arabic. Okay, and as I mentioned, our books are in mostly English and Arabic, but we have other languages as well. And English and Arabic are shelved together. Everything is shelved by subject, not by language. And these are those are mainly for decoration. We have 4 different walls of books in the lobby area, and we frequently hold events in those areas. Okay, now we'll go to the 7th floor, which is what I was mentioning before, our treasures of the library. And okay, so in the very beginning of the treasures of the library, we have 2 very nice items. These are both donations from prominent businessmen in Dubai. The one to the left is called the Astronomicon, and it's from Germany from the 16th century, and it has a lot of movable discs that help you with determining which dates certain events occurred or when they might occur in the future. And the one on the right is a beautiful, it's again, everything that we have in this exhibit is hand done. There's nothing which is a facsimile or a copy. So the item on the right is a Quran manuscript from Golconda, from the Deccan in India. And it's all done in gold leaf and other beautiful colors. And that was a donation by another prominent businessman, named Abdurrahman al-Awais. And I don't know if I mentioned, the one on the left was donated by Mohammed al-Abar, who's the owner of MR, a major contracting company in Dubai. Okay, then here, going to the right, these are the oldest items that we have. The first item on your right is a Quran manuscript. It's just a fragment from the 8th century. And that's the oldest item that we have in the library. And it's written in Kufic script. And Kufic, you really have to know your Arabic very well in order to be able to interpret it, because it doesn't have, not only it doesn't have vowels, it doesn't even have the actual letters. So you have to, the dots. So you have to know you have to know if it's a ba or a nun or a ya or a ta. Let's see, ba, nun, ya, ta, and the tha. You have to know those letters. You have to know the words in order to be able to interpret those. Okay, then immediately to the left there, we have, these are 5 ahzab. So ahzab are, okay, the Quran is divided into 30 juz and 60 hizb. So we have the complete set of 60 hizb of this particular manuscript of the Quran. And it was from Iran from the 19th century. And you can see all of the volumes have the same color theme, but they have a slightly different design. So we have all 60, but we could only reasonably exhibit 5 of them. Okay, then we're going to go to the back to our different Quran manuscripts. Now we have Quran manuscripts from all different parts of the Islamic world. Sorry? So we have Quranic manuscripts from all over the Islamic world. The most colorful ones that we have are probably from India, Iran, and Turkey. And the ones from the Arab world have less color. And I have been told that the reason for that is that the color dyes were made out of plants and fruits, and they could possibly ferment. And in the Arab world, they were very concerned about that. So mostly they use black and white ink and also some gold. So there's straight ahead of us, those are either from India or Iran. And the one to the right there is from Iraq. So that's black and white with some gold. All right, let's move a little bit to the left. And I'll show you some of our more interesting Quranic manuscripts. We have here at the very end, there's one from China. And this is a Quranic manuscript from China, and it's also quite colorful. And the reason we decided to have something from China is because in the hadith it says, look for knowledge even if it's in China. And then the one on the left is also very interesting. It's from Timbuktu. And the one from Timbuktu is not bound. The pages were all filed on top of each other and wrapped in a leather covering. Okay. Okay. Okay, now we're going to go to something a little bit different. Some of our calligraphers' tools. In addition to the printed books and manuscripts and journals, we also have different calligraphic tools like pen boxes and inkwells. So there in the back on this one, that is an inkwell. That's a pen case made out of a walrus tusk. And that's from the 19th century from Turkey. And then immediately to the left, we have our most valuable item from the library, and that is an Indian combination pen case and inkwell, and it's from the Deccan in India, and it's worth approximately 2 million US. And then the one immediately to the left of that, there's a blue and white item, and that's an Islamic. It's a Chinese pen case made for the Islamic market, and it's made out of porcelain. Okay, let's go to the left a little bit. And okay, this is one of my favorites. This is, unfortunately, it's not straight up in front of us, but that's a scribe from India, and from Egypt. It's a scribe from Egypt. And normally the scribe from Egypt would hold a pen case in his belt, but instead of holding the pen case, instead of holding the dagger in his, he should be holding a dagger. But instead of holding the dagger, he's actually got a pen case, and the pen case is featured there at the bottom of the screen. So that's because the pen is mightier than the sword. So we can go to the next section now. All right, so then we have some other items relating to calligraphy. All right, let's go. All right, the first one there, those are scissors used for cutting paper. And what's interesting about these particular scissors is that on the handle of each scissors are the words Ya Fatah. Ya Fatah, Fatah is one of the 99 names of Allah. And these scissors are used to, it means, Ya Fatah means the opener. So these scissors are used to open letters and other types of paper. Then immediately to the left of that, we also have special knives, which are used to cut the reed or other kinds of pens that were used to write calligraphy. And then to the right of that, where the cursor is right now, those are called maqata. So a maqta is a kind of a cradle for a pen that you use to hold in place when you're getting ready to sharpen the pen. Okay, then immediately to the back, we have some artwork relating to calligraphy. The item to the left is a guide for calligraphers, and if you can get a little bit closer to that, I'm not sure. Each letter has a defined width and height. So there are all these little dots there. So the dots show you how wide the letter should be or how tall the letter should be. And let's go to the right there. Okay, and the item on the bottom there, there's a conception in the West that Muslim women were not necessarily very well educated. But this is a Mughal princess, and she's learning how to do calligraphy from her calligraphy instructor. And then immediately to the right, we have a diploma for calligraphers. It's called an ijaza. So the ijaza, if you were learning how to be a calligrapher, you had to find a qualified calligrapher who would certify that you're qualified. And that's an example of that. Okay, now we're going to move over to a different section. Okay. So what have we got there? Okay, we have different items relating to classical Arabic literature. These are old manuscripts. So let's see, what have you got there? Okay, just give us 1 second here. Okay, now we have an area which I like to refer to as a crossroads of civilization. And there we have lots of items which show how Arabic was taught in Europe. So here's an example of Arabic grammar book published in Leiden I think that's Leiden. Yes, that's from Leiden in the Netherlands. Early works on Arabic literature. So there was interest in Arabic and Islamic studies in Europe as early back as the 16th and 17th century. So we have items referring to Arabic proverbs and grammar, and even dictionaries from Italian to Arabic and Arabic to Italian. And then to the right there, yeah, we have different items relating to the contributions of Arab science. So this, the second one there, yes, second. That's a manuscript. Oh, no, back. Yeah, that's a manuscript, a printed book from Avicenna. Avicenna, which published a book called fromthe. It's a treatise on modern on medicine. And in this particular drawing on the left, it's showing how cupping was performed. And then we'll move over a little bit more to the right, and I'll show you an example of a manual of surgery by Zahrawi. And Zahrawi has an illustration there showing, I think it's the one on the left. Yes, that one. Oh, no. Yes. This shows how you performed an amputation. And they used anesthesia. They would put ether on a rag and put that on the person's head, and then they would proceed to cut the limb with a hacksaw. So not too much fun, even with anesthesia, I'm sure. Okay, we're going to go over to the next section right now. Okay, yes. Okay, now we have a section here. It's mostly on geography. So in the middle here, we have the oldest item, which refers to the city of Dubai, or the Emirate of Dubai, which is dated from 1590. So Dubai is not just something that arose 50 years ago out of the dust. This book was written by an Italian jewel merchant from Venice, and it was published in 1590. And if we can get a little bit closer there, okay, no, unfortunately, oh, okay. Okay, so then we have that particular item is from 1590, and it mentions the city of Dubai and also the city of al-Quwain. And Dubai is written the way the locals here pronounce it, which is Dubai. So I thought that was interesting. In 1590, that an Italian merchant knew that it was called Dubai and not Dubai. So we'll talk more about that later. Then we have also a collection. This is called the Blau Atlas. And the Blau Atlas is from the late 16th century. And it's 11 volumes. It was originally published in 3 different languages: Latin, French, and Dutch. And then we have a variety of different atlases. There are 3 main kinds of atlases. There's terrestrial, maritime, and celestial. Okay. So that's an example. Those are different types of atlases. And there on the wall, we have a collection of different maps of the Arabian Peninsula, which were a donation from our chairman, His Excellency Mohammed Al-Mur. And then we have other types of atlases. So for instance, there's an atlas of different cities. This is the first atlas of cities, and in the center it has a picture of a map of Jerusalem. It also has maps of Constantinople and Damascus and other important cities in the Middle East. This is the first. That's the first atlas in Arabic script. It's in Ottoman Turkish, and it's called Atlas Jadid, New Atlas, and it's from I think 1803 or 1804 from Istanbul, and that's an atlas of Paris. Also quite a beautiful piece. And then to the left we have. This is the Description de l'Egypte, description of Egypt, which was a team of experts in archaeology and architecture who compiled a registry of all of the antiquities in Egypt, be they Islamic or Pharaonic or Christian. It's in 34 volumes. Okay, then over here we have our collection of early Arabic periodicals, which are either from the Arab world or from the Arab diaspora. And then there's the first item there. It's not very clear, unfortunately. This was Queen Elizabeth's visit to Dubai in 1979. And then in the back, we have some of the earliest periodicals, earliest children's magazines and periodicals from the Arab world. The one in the center there is a magazine called Majid, and that's been produced since 1979 and still continues. And that was a very, very popular children's magazine, and still is. Okay. Then we have other Western books. So the first item there is Les Miserables, first edition, published by Victor Hugo, published actually in Belgium. I thought it was published in France, but it's really published in Belgium. And then to the left, the next case will show different early Russian books. The first one on the right is War and Peace, Vojna i Mir. And then we have on the left, this is Crime and Punishment by Dostoevsky. Then we have other items relating to Western culture and Western literature. So, and also some Far Eastern. So if we can move just a little bit to the left there. Yes. Okay, so this is the Ramayana from India. And then immediately to the right of that is the Shahnameh from Iran. And then we have the Mutanabbi. Can we show Mutanabbi's face? Yeah, there's Mutanabbi. And before that, that was Ferdowsi Shahnameh. And then to the right is a Japanese noblewoman. And that was the book, it's called Genji Monogatari. Very important Japanese work from the end of the 18th century. Okay, then we'll go to the other side and we'll see Cervantes with the first illustrated edition of Don Quixote, Don Quixote. And this is William Shakespeare. And this is, unfortunately, we don't have the first folio. We have the second folio of Shakespeare, which is also not too shabby, from 1632. And then we have a work by Montaigne. And then the very last one is our oldest printed book, and that is the Divine Comedy by Dante. That's our oldest printed book from 1491. Let's see what else we can show. Okay, then we have a collection of old British literature and old English and old American literature. So the first item to the left is David Copperfield. Oh, no, back. It's okay, 1 second. Okay, so there, that first one there, that's Charles Dickens, David Copperfield, and it was issued in fascicles or individual, like individual chapters. And then let's see, an important one there. There's John, okay, back, big one. Yes, that one right there. That's John Milton, it's Paradise Lost. Thank you. Okay, and then we also have Dracula by Bram Stoker, the yellow one. And okay, then we're going to go to see some book bindings. Our chairman is a big fan of book bindings, and we have really a special collection of those. So, okay, which one? The one that's all different colors? Okay, that one I'll talk about. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, the first ones that we have there at the bottom, those are on tortoiseshell. So you can, of course, you can't do tortoiseshell bindings anymore, but at that time it was still permitted. And the one at the top is a manual of for fishermen. It's called the Complete Angler, and each of the fish is embossed, so they're really beautiful. Okay, then to the left, that is a French binding. It's done in an Art Deco style. Yeah, and then in the back, and that, no, back to the other bindings. Just wanted to show the women's. It's okay. Okay, then that one right there.
Did you confuse the audience?
Yeah, it's okay. All right. Well, I wanted to point out that we have some bindings done by the Guild of Women Binders in Europe. So there was a special organization set up for women binders. That one right there in the middle. Thank you. That's the one I wanted to show. So that's the Union of Women Binders in Europe. Then on the back wall there, we have some items from different world cultures. So that one right there, where the cursor is a printed book called the Book of Fables, and it's a book of animal fables that was in the personal library of Marie Antoinette. It's a 4-volume set. We have all 4 volumes. It's too big for us to display all 4 at one time. Okay, then we have, okay, go back to Mickey Mouse. We have the first edition of Mickey Mouse. So there's also some fun stuff in the library. It's not all very serious. So that's the first edition of Mickey Mouse from 1930. And right now where the cursor is in the blue volumes, just down. Yeah, that's the first edition of the Jungle Book 2 volumes. Okay. We also have, you know, what's it called? Pinocchio and Alice in Wonderland, other beautiful first editions. Right, let's go to the left. Okay, no, the next one over. Next. Okay, these are the early musical books. We have books in both Western languages and in Arabic. So one of the nice ones that we have right above, right below where the cursor is, that's the Beethoven's Fifth Symphony, the first printed edition. And let's see, what is that? That's the Alhambra Palace in Spain. It's an old book describing the Alhambra in great detail. And then, okay, we can go to religions. We have, so Dubai is a center for tolerance and diversity. So we have things relating to other religions other than Islam. So the cursor is right now on the Pentateuch or the Torah translated into Arabic. And the item immediately to the left there is the Mishnah Torah by Maimonides in Hebrew. And that's a 14th century manuscript from Yemen. Okay. And then we have, that's the Gospels there to the right. Gospels with an Arabic with a Latin, Arabic and Latin. The Gospels of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. And then to the left, we have, next one to the left. Yeah, these are different translations of the Quran into different languages. Now, the first Quran in Arabic was from the 17th century. It's very late for printing. That first one there, the Muhammad, yeah, that's from 1694, quite late. But then we have other manuscripts of the Quran in Dutch, English, and French. And that's basically what I really wanted to share with you relating to our. But now we're going to have a few more items in detail. We're doing okay time-wise?
Yes, you are. That was absolutely
Okay.
amazing.
Well, we have a little bit more, if you don't mind. Okay, so this is again another example of Kufic script, but this is a little bit more modern, and you can see it has some dots, so you can at least make out the letters if you can't make out the vowels. And again, this is an Andalusi manuscript of North Africa. And this is Surat Maryam, the verse, the chapter of Maryam in the Quran, and lots of gold leaf. Okay, and this is the one I think that Mr. Harmesh was interested in, from Cordoba, from Spain. Okay, let's go. This is Surat al-Baqarah, and this is Surat al-Nisa. And these are all, quite early fragments of the Kufic period. Okay, this is one of the items, I think I showed it to you at the very beginning. This is the 11th century Quran that was donated by Abdurrahman al-Awais, and it's from Golconda in the Deccan in India. Okay, and this is I didn't show you all of the Qurans before. I just gave you a few examples. So this one is from the Qajar period from Iran, and it's a beautifully illustrated, what do you call it? Zakhrafa. Beautifully illuminated. Thank you. So, and these are the 5 ahzab from the Quran that I mentioned before. We have the collection of all 60. And we just chose to display these 5 to give you a taste of what it is. Okay, and this is the Chinese Quran that we saw briefly before. And as I said, we thought it was important to include something from China so that users could see that we have a representation of the hadith verse that says, look for knowledge even if it's in China. And this is a Kashmiri one. This is, look how beautiful it looks like a Persian carpet. And this is an example of a calligrapher's chest, which would include all of the tools that I mentioned to you earlier, like the inkwells and the knives and the little cutting boards called the maqata, which have the little cradle. Okay. And this is another calligrapher's chest with the same type of materials inside. And this is from Turkey, 19th century. And there's the disassembled version of that what do you call it, pen case and inkwell that I showed before, the gold one. Yeah, this one, you saw it before when it was all assembled, but this is how it looks when all of the pieces are separated. So you can see the inkwell to the left, and on the bottom you see the pen case, and then those little caps go on either side of the pen case. Okay, and that's 16th century India, and it's worth about 2 million US. Now this one, I mentioned briefly before, this is on a walrus tusk, and it's from the 18th or 19th century from Ottoman Turkey. Okay, and this is from the first photographic album of Mecca, and that's a Dutch photographer. His name was Snoek Bogronia. If you can say that 10 times fast, I'll give you a prize. And that's the Kaaba in the center. And this is what do you call it? The scribe that I mentioned before. He's an Egyptian scribe, and he's carrying a pen case on his belt rather than a dagger, because the pen is mightier than the sword. Okay.
David, we have plenty of time, so you can take it slowly if you like.
Okay. All right. And this is a book about different countries and tribes of the Persian Gulf. And that's a picture of the city of Bahla in Oman that we just had. Sorry. Okay. And this is a treatise on optics by Ibn al-Haytham. And you can see it's quite early. It's from Basel, Switzerland, from 1572. So you can see there was quite a bit of interest in the knowledge passed down from the Islamic world, even in the 16th century. Okay, and this is Kitab al-Hayawan. Now there's another famous Kitab al-Hayawan by al-Jahz, but this one is by Damiri. And it's a 17th century treatise on animals. And it's got a lot of illustrations which show actual different mammals, lizards, reptiles, etc. And this is the Farasnama. This is a treatise on the feed and carrying of horses. And it's from Mughal, India. And this is Sultan Barghash. And Sultan Barghash was the Sultan of Zanzibar. And he took an early visit to the UK and other parts of Europe in 1875. And then he wrote up all of his notes relating to the voyage. And this is the other item from that front case. This is the Astronomicum from Germany from 1540. And that was donated by Muhammad al-Abar from MR Corporation. Okay, and this is the item that I mentioned before. This is the item which mentions the city of Dubai. And if you look from the third line where the cursor is right now, it says Dubai, which is how the locals here pronounce it. They don't say Dubai. Dubai is only in English. And then below that, you can see a little bit to the right, you can see Ras, which is Ras Al Khaimah. And then next to that, to the right, you can see Al Gawain, the city of Al Gawain. Okay. And this is a travel log by an Italian jewel merchant named Gasparo Balbi. And this was a gift from the personal collection of His Highness Sheikh Mohammed Bin Rashid. So we're very honored and delighted to have that item in our collections. Okay, we have a large collection of maps relating to the Arabian Peninsula. And this is one of the early ones from 1482 from Italy. And it's based on Ptolemy's geography. And it's from 1482. So we have a beautiful collection of early maps of the Arabian Peninsula donated by His Excellency Muhammad al-Mur. Okay, this is an early map of the Empire of Turkey, the Turkish Empire, by Abraham Ortelius, and it was printed in Antwerp in 1570. And this is the Shakespeare's second folio from 1632, which includes his comedies, tragedies, and histories. And the origin of the species. Some people are surprised to see that in our library, but we do have it. Origin of the Species by Charles Darwin from 1859, first edition. And these are from our American historical literature collection, The Adventures of Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn, both by Mark Twain. And as I mentioned before, we have Dracula by Bram Stoker from 1897, and Alice's Adventures in Wonderland from 1866. And this is an important work relating to the role of women in the Middle East. This is by Huda Sha'arawi, an Egyptian feminist, one of the most well-known Egyptian feminists. And this is, as I mentioned before, we have a few volumes that are bound in tortoiseshell. So this is one of them. We have at least 3 in our special collections there from 1882. And this is that beautiful French manuscript that I told you about. It's not very old, but I think it's really spectacularly bound. And this is one of the translations of the Quran, the first one translated into English from 1649. Also in our collections, we have a special edition of the Quran, which is the same edition that Thomas Jefferson had in his own library. And that one was recently donated to us by the American consulate in Dubai. And this is the Gospels from 1590 to 1591, and it's in Arabic with a Latin translation. And this is the Pentateuch, or the Torah, in Arabic language. And this is the first printing of the Quran, the first accessible printing of the Quran in Arabic from 1694. So you can see that Arabic printing of the Quran was quite late. And that's what I had. So I'm happy to answer any questions. I think we have a little time for that.
Thank you, David. That was an amazing tour, and the comments are very, very well reflecting the wealth of information, the treasures that you have.
Thank you.
Yeah, just any questions, anything on the chat here? There's one about a couple of donors of books.
Yes.
Were all the objects donated, and how did you source them?
No, well, some of those, we have some that were donated by His Excellency, Muhammad Al-Mur. Others we have bought either at auction or from individual antiquarian book vendors. And we have donations from other people as well.
That's fantastic. And another question from Samina.
Sure.
She's saying, how do you decide which manuscript to include in the library collection? Because there's so many to choose. How
Exactly.
do you decide?
Well, we see what is offered to us either by vendors or available through different auction houses such as Sotheby's or Christie's. And we have certain priorities that we wanted to include in our collections, really either things relating to the sciences, relating to medicine, Islamic literature. So and geography is a big priority. So there are certain areas. We don't collect everything.
Yes, of course. And I think the building itself and the way you describe all the way it's been put together, there's a fantastic expertise brought in together to bring a modern building. So it's a history of the culture, religions, languages. It's really fascinating stuff. I'm really excited to see this happening.
It is indeed.
Any questions from others, please? Oh, there was something about subscription, digital subscriptions. So
we have a lot of subscriptions to different databases and other digital periodicals, yes. And also I wanted to talk briefly about membership in the library, how to get access. That was one of the things that you had asked me earlier.
Yeah, would you like to mention?
Yeah, so actually you can visit the library for free, and you can visit any of our exhibits for free also. If you want to check books out, that will be enabled soon. We're not letting books get checked out, not quite yet, but soon, inshallah. And there will be a nominal charge if you want to check out books. But it's available for anyone to come and visit for free. We're open 6 days a week until 9 p.m. And actually from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. every day except for Saturday. I'm sorry, for Friday. No, we're open Friday from 2 to 9 and Saturday from 9 to 9. Sunday is our day off. So even librarians are entitled to a rest.
And you are giving us your time on a Sunday. So
well, we're very happy to do it. Actually, Amal and I are always and all of our staff in general are very happy to show off our library. We're very proud of this institution.
Yeah.
Well, it's been amazing, absolutely amazing. I've seen it in real life, so to see it again through your digital video, it's been incredible. There is one question here in the chat.
Sure.
It's from Rana. Will the manuscript be available digitally online?
Yes. Actually, we've already made some of them available digitally already, and almost every item, and soon, inshallah, every item will have a QR code in the library, and you can click on the QR code and then read the full description, and in some cases, see the complete manuscript.
And she said Islamic science manuscripts along with Quranic ones. So she's saying all of these?
We're hoping to have everything available. All of the items from our treasures of the library will be available digitally. It will take some time, but we're working on it. You know, as I said, we've only been open for a year, so I think we've done quite a bit already.
Phenomenal achievements, indeed.
Yeah. Thank you.
Something, inspector in me and a teacher in me, I wanted to ask you. This is so much good practice and so much about diversity here and inclusion.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say, how would you spread good practice? And I would like to suggest that this is made available to everybody in the world.
It will be available digitally online. Anybody that has internet will have access.
That every school, every child should see this. And this actually tells you about the cultural history and apprenticeship. You know, those craftsmen, the calligraphers.
Yes, the calligraphers, yes.
Tools, and we're forgetting that. We're all going into, you know, digital things, but, you know, there is all this craft there. And that tells us a lot about how we have developed. And I think that's a really important aspect.
Yeah, but I also wanted to show that, you know, Dubai is not just a place for beaches and hotels. We have, you know, respectable institutions here. So, and it's also important for the locals here to have an opportunity to see items from other cultures. Many of them travel, but we have here right available at arm's length. So many things from different cultures from all over the world. And we're very, very lucky to have this here.
Well, thank you, David. We have got one question, but I'll read some of the comments there. From Samina from Perth, Australia. She said, thank you for an excellent lecture.
Thank you.
Alison, I think she's from Scotland, says, hopefully I will one day be able to visit if my pace.
We hope so too. You're welcome anytime.
And slowly learned Arabic progresses. So she's, mashallah, an Arab expert.
Mashallah.
And another one from Alice, a very good, interesting and informative talk. Many thanks. From Masarat, who happens to be a dear friend of mine from school days. Thank you so much, so interesting. And Isaac, who's part of MACFEST, she said, it's a wonderful talk as it shows the tolerance and openness of Dubai. And then from Ruzia, who I've not met yet, don't know yet, but hopefully we will one day, inshallah. We are so, so glad to have this opportunity to join this webinar. Thank you so much. So these are some of the lovely comments. And then from Sanjida Parveen, she said, thank you so much for fascinating virtual visit. And she's visiting in November, so she is going there.
Oh, great.
Now
I see, visual visiting in November. Yes, fantastic.
Real visit. And then for Emily, there is a question. Are the tours of the library in person?
Yes, actually, normally tours are for groups if you make arrangements in advance. Sometimes other tours are available on availability, depending on how many obligations the staff have. But yes, tours are available, especially for groups. But best to give us a little bit of notice. We have, it's a big library. As I mentioned before, we have over 54,000 square meters. And our total number of staff in the libraries is what? Less than 60. And that's including all the different functions of the library. So it's not a very big staff for considering all the work that we have to do. There's self-touring, and we do have actually interactive maps on every floor, which allow you to see where different things are.
Couple of thoughts, David.
Sure.
There is so much there, and the problem these days is to present something succinctly so that people get an overview of what this is. Now, here's a challenge for you or somebody to think about: a one-page summary of what this library offers. Don't have to put too much in there, but a summary of what this library, what it will tell you. That'll be fantastic. And the other thing that I have thought was, you know, there's many things that we have known about for a number of years, but it's just that we didn't know. Nobody discovered those things. For example, this Egyptian feminist So where have I heard?
Oh, really?
That? We haven't heard those kind of things. And AI is another biggie. Artificial intelligence, everybody
Yes.
talks about it. And it's all things, it's like six blind men going to different parts of London and trying to describe it. So we need to get a section on AI, the AI applications in the library and how that can benefit.
Okay, now we do have AI applications, yes. Mostly for children at this point, but I think that's something that's definitely going to be expanding.
Why not adults? I mean, I think, adults.
I said mainly children, so okay, we do have some digital items for adults as well, but it will definitely expand. Obviously, it's changing. The world is changing so rapidly, relating to these artificial intelligence and virtual reality, et cetera, et cetera. Everything is just changing so fast.
Okay, please, everyone, do post your question. We still have plenty of time. There are two new comments, and I want to read them out to you.
Sure.
To you and your team to be proud. We've got people joining from right across the world. So we have Jakarta in Australia at one end. They're sitting there nearly at midnight. And we have someone, Karen, from Michigan, USA. And this is what Karen says. This was a privilege to attend this amazing library from Michigan, USA. And then Yvonne Bung, who's a good friend, and he joins almost all our sessions, says, thank you for the great session. And I think somewhere I read a question by someone saying, what are your personal favorite artifacts?
I really like the ones that are a little bit curiosities. I love the walrus tusk, and I like the one which is the most expensive item. And I like the voyages of the Sultan of Zanzibar. Those, if you ask me, those are off the top of my head. I think those are the three that I always like to show. And of course, the first book from Dubai. If you let me talk, I'll end up mentioning the whole collection. They're all wonderful. I think it's all right, please.
As a note, my personal collection was the ink pots. The
ink pots are great, yeah.
All of those things. Here's another comment from Alison. Very many thanks indeed for the guided tour. Wonderful to see the world brought together under one roof for the education benefit of all. I've learned so much. I thought I knew quite a bit, but to be honest with you, within 90 minutes, 1 hour, you've taught us so much. And then the splendor of your tour. Is it possible to bring Amal in?
Amal, yes. Amal, she's gonna come on right now just to introduce herself.
No, because she's played a really big role in here. Yes. Taken some of what part have you played in this, Amal? Tell us about your work, because we want to know a little bit about your work as well, David. How you got into this? You live in America. You're American, yet.
No, I live here. I've been here back and forth since 1983.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, my name is Amal. Can you make it? It's mute. It should be mute.
So Harmesh, if you got any questions, you keep them.
Don't start me.
1 second.
Yeah, I'm back.
Yes, this lecture is recorded. Seal is asking if this is recording. It is recorded, and it's being live streamed at the moment on our Facebook. Okay, over to you, Amal. We love the work you've done. We want to know your involvement. What are your favorites, and what exactly is your role? And it's great to have women role models.
My name is Amal Hashim Malik. I'm sorry for
let me turn it off.
You can mute this.
Probably, David, you'll have to switch yours off or something.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Yeah.
Yes, I think you can hear me very well now.
Yes.
My name is Amal Hashim Malik. I'm the head of marketing section at Mohammed Bin Rashid Library. Almost 8 months since I joined MBRL, but I'm doing a lot with my whole team here at the MBRL to market the services available here. So I was the one behind the virtual tour. Excuse us for the sudden moves of the items while we were visiting the virtual tour, or MBRL, the virtual tour. Yeah, I wanted to tell you and the audience and invite you to visit the library by using the virtual tour through MBRL .ae website. Please explore that opportunity. It will be in the very main page in the right after the banner. So let me know if you have any question related to the library. For example, one of my best items that you just asked, I can't like have a featured item more than something close to my heart, the collection of the children book, Alice and Wonderland, Pinocchio. Once I saw these items, I felt like, oh, because, you know, it touches my heart. In addition to the cross across the boards, like the translated books from the scientific Arabs to Europe, that was an evidence that I was able to see in front of my eyes of the Muslim world in the past. So yeah, those are my favorite items.
Amo, maybe there's a question here you can answer, but also I'll read the question in a minute. You've got an exhibition on the opposite side of the museum. Tell us a bit about it, and the photography exhibition.
Yes, actually in MBRL, we have almost 9 floors, from the basement to the 7th floor, as we call it. So, and the 7th floor is where we invite all of our tours to start with. We have 2 exhibitions, the one that Mr. David explained, and the other one, the photography exhibition. It will be Emirates from the 1940 till now. So images of rare photography and or select collection of photographs available in that temporary exhibition. If you are planning to visit UAE, please put Mohammed Bin Rashid Library in your plan, because our temporary exhibition, the Emirates from the past till now, is open now till the end of the year, as we will change the theme of the exhibition from time to time. So it will be an opportunity to explore more about the Emirates heritage and scenes or captures from before.
Personal question for me, Amo. When I visited, there were 3 of you women who were sort of had quite good roles in the library. Can you tell us more about the part that women play in your library? What sort of role? It's a bigger question in the sense that you've got one question here. Is there a section on women in Islam? So that's a question. But it reminds me, because I met women there, not because they brought women in, but people had good roles, and which was impressive for me, which is nice for us to share with the world, really, as normally they have negative stereotyped ideas about Muslim women.
All right, so we in the library, as a staff, the percentage of women who works in the library is more than men. Like we have 56 point something percentage of women. So yeah, and all of
that
us.
Is low. That is low, Amal.
More than men here, you know. So yeah, that to talk about in terms of the library and our role here, just like our colleague, we are all equal, trying to achieve the goal of the library all together. And regarding to the second part, is there a section on women in Islam? This question is quite broad. If you mentioned that if there are any section within the selection of books available in the treasure of the library, yes, there is a section about women and her role. For example, I can't tell more like about the right of women, because Islam, when it came, it gave the rights of women from long before, or since Prophet Muhammad was Yanshar al-Islam, so yeah, spreading Islam. So yeah, but apart from that, we are here all with like equal with men, trying to do all the roles that we're asked to do equally with full efforts. So yeah.
Okay, Harmesh, have you got any comments?
Yeah, I think, what that shows me is the respect that there is for different cultures and the tolerance issue. That's very big. I wonder, maybe this is not a question for any of you. This is a question to His Highness. What is his strategy, or what is the library's strategy? Where would it be in 10 years' time? Yeah. And I just want to share some of personal experiences. I came to Dubai in 2001, I think. And I saw a Gurudwara, a mandir, and a mosque sitting alongside each other in Dubai. I thought that was fantastic. I hadn't seen that before. The second example was in Cordoba, where there's a mosque and the cathedral all in the same place. I think those are good models of the sort of world we want to live in. So I think it might be useful to have some of those things included, and how have different cultures learn to live with each other when there is so much hatred going on in the world as well. So I think it might be useful to bring in some of the aspects which will dispel some of the myths and stereotypes that there are about different cultures. It's just a suggestion, but strategy is maybe for His Highness or people like yourself to decide, where do we want to be in 10 years' time?
Like, this is a quite good question.
I think we will continue to expand all of our print collections, and we'll also. Okay. I think we will continue to expand our print and electronic and digital collections, and we'll also increase our number of programs. Right now, we have a goal to have approximately 100 programs in the year, but I think that will continue to expand. And Dubai, as you may know, has over 200 different nationalities, and we're trying to make sure that there are books and other library materials available to people from all cultures and all backgrounds. And with regard back to women's studies for just one more minute, we don't have a special women's studies collection yet, but we have many materials relating to Muslim and Arab women according to the Library of Congress. We use Library of Congress classification here. So there is a special area for books relating to women, women of all different religions.
Thank you, David. There is a question in the portal we have not had a chance to answer. It's by Sister Samina, who was one of our presenters. She presented a session on fantastic session on Muslim women in Australia, and she's in Perth at the moment. She says, how do you decide which manuscripts to include in the library collection? That's one question. Second question, do you collaborate with libraries, for example, in Uzbekistan? So two questions.
Okay, with regard to the manuscripts, I think I mentioned before that we have certain priorities. So we like historical, geographical, medical, literary. We have quite a wide variety, but there are specific priorities, mostly set up by our chairman, Mohammed Al-Mur. And the other question was what? Yes, about the manuscripts. Oh, collaborating with Uzbekistan. All right, we actually, since we had Expo 2020 here in Dubai, a large number of consulates and embassies and ministries of culture have come to our library and have expressed an interest in collaboration. And we have set up memorandums of understanding with a wide variety of libraries. So I don't remember if Uzbekistan has visited us yet, but let's see, there was a couple of the stands. Turkmenistan has donated a large number of books. We had delegations from Korea, from China, from many different, Turkey, many different countries have donated books. Bangladesh, India, Pakistan, I don't remember if they have yet. No, they were supposed to have a visit, but it hasn't happened yet.
Our visits were 200 last year.
Okay.
So we opened the library.
200 official delegations from different countries have come to visit us so far. One other thing I wanted to mention, if you do come to our library, wear comfortable shoes, because it's a lot of walking.
And that's right.
When I see people coming with high heels, I say, oh, they're not going to last.
Okay.
Because it's 9 floors. You don't have to see them all the first time. A lot of people come and they say, oh, I can't do everything in one day. We have to come back. And also we have a wonderful theater, which holds 580 people. And it's a wonderful venue for conferences and other events.
You're absolutely right. We were there for 3 hours and we were rushing. There wasn't enough time to see everything. There's just so much to see. Now, there are 3 more comments I can share with you.
Okay.
And these are more lovely comments. One from Friends of Shahnama. She's Shahari from Manchester. She said, thank you, MACFEST, for taking us to a different part of the world. Joyce Clifford, what a wonderful and high standard that this library setting. Totally agree. Alison again, she said, a very good point. The first steps are taken and hopefully will continue. A religion of tolerance and mutual regard and respect for all beliefs is just so important.
Mm-hmm. So there's Amal showing our virtual tour again. So that's the theater that I was just mentioning. You can see it, yours is showing. So that's our theater, which holds 580 people. And it has very, very good acoustics. Sometimes they're too good, because if someone is in the front of the theater, they can hear anything that you say from the back row. So I won't go into any further detail, but just be careful what you say if you're inside that theater. Here's the 6th floor, which is where we have our special Emirates library and our business library. And the business library is probably the biggest business library in the UAE. It's bigger even than the library that they have at the Chamber of Commerce. And let's see, are we going to go to Emirates? Which is your favorite part? Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. Actually, we have several chairs where you can sit and see everything that's going on in the library. I like that place especially, and it's where I go to sit on the 6th floor if I have a little break. And you have your own kind of private space, and I like it because I can see where people are going and what they have in their hands. And if they're trying to walk out with out of the library, I have this kind of weird dream that I could press a button and watch them fall into the center of the earth if they're trying to steal a book. Yeah, there's the business library also on the 6th floor.
Is there any chance of going to the photography exhibition, Amal?
Do you have the photography? She's going to try. Give us a minute.
Because I found it fascinating. Yeah.
Okay. So we have some shots of that. Okay, I'm going to put mine on silent now. Or are you looking at the commentary? Or you want me to?
Yeah.
All right, I'll talk a little bit about the photography collection as well. Amal's going to go into that exhibit. Okay, so there we're very proud to have some early photos of His Highness who passed away, Sheikh Zayed, the father of the nation here. So can you get to some Sheikh Zayed pictures? Okay, we're going to go back to the photography exhibit is as large as our general exhibit, our treasures of the library, and each of those, I have been told, is the size of the main reading rooms in the British Library. So you get an idea of the size. They're quite large. Okay, all right. So there's the entrance to the photography exhibition, and we're going to go in there, and immediately in front of us, we're going to see early photos of His Highness Sheikh Zayed of blessed memory, dating back to the 1940s. There's Sheikh Zayed. Can you see those pictures?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so the Sheikh Zayed from 1940, he passed away in 2004, I think it was. Yeah. Very, very popular and I think universally respected leader of the country.
Okay.
You would never hear an unkind word about him.
So what sort of dates are we talking about?
Well, the photos, the earliest ones we have are back to the 1940s, but I'd say that most of the photos that we have are probably from the 60s and 70s. We have a lot of photographs that were taken by a British photographer whose son still lives here in the UAE. And we have photos of the other Emirates as well. So I don't know if you can show the Burj al-Maqta. Yeah. So we have lots of photos of different forts and different palaces and different princes and different emirs from all of the different Emirates. As you know, we have 7 Emirates here, and we have endeavored to collect photographs from all of them. The emphasis, I think, is probably on Dubai and Abu Dhabi, but there are photos from other Emirates as well. We also have a large area of photographs of famous international visitors that came to visit the UAE on official visits. Yeah, we'll see that.
Like late from 1940, 1960s.
Yeah, so, yeah, well, I think most of what we have is probably from the 60s and 70s.
Let me see if I can.
Okay, if you can, early photos of Dubai and the creek. Is that, can we show something from the creek and the Abras? Oh, well. Okay.
Fascinating.
You can see, you know, oh, and there's a wonderful picture of a troupe of bagpipe players also. See, we weren't planning really to give major emphasis to this particular part of the collection, but maybe next year we could do that. Yeah, yeah, we show different traditions, different cultures, different customs. Like, and there are lots of pictures about the role of women, even of women in the military, and how they and about pearl diving. That was the main source of income here for many years before the oil became before oil was discovered. The main source of income was pearl diving. Okay, so this is a famous fort. It's called the Maqta Bridge and the Maqta Fort in Abu Dhabi. It's the entrance to Abu Dhabi.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Okay.
We could spend whole day with this library.
Yeah. Also, and it shows the progress.
Running out of time now.
Yeah. Okay. So.
Just going through quickly to the exhibition. This is 1971 and the delegation.
1971 was the date of the Federation of the United Arab Emirates. Okay. They were formerly called the Trucial States, and then in 1971 it became a union of the 7 Emirates.
Was there the Queen Mother there?
The Queen, I don't know if it has the Queen, Malika, Egypt? I don't think I've seen her picture, but yeah.
It's okay, Amma.
Yeah.
You have Queen Mother?
Yes, yeah. It's behind there. It looks like it is a Queen Mother or the Queen.
I think the Queen definitely came several times.
It's the Queen.
But I don't know, the Queen Mother, I'm not sure.
No, from far she looked like the Queen Mother.
Right.
That's okay.
And Margaret Thatcher was here, and lots of British diplomats.
Okay. Right, we are nearly at the end of our time.
Okay.
So what can I say? Katarzyna might as well thank our, Harmesh, you want to thank our presenters first?
Yes, I think, well, David, this has been really fascinating, and we're now friends on LinkedIn, so we'll keep in touch.
I'll look forward to that. I'm looking forward to your visit.
I'll try and do as much promotion as I can to encourage all schools in all the countries to have a virtual tour of this. It's about, you know, encouraging tolerance, inquisitiveness, and how over the centuries you have captured all these civilizations who have done so much work to bring us to the level now. So I think it's been a fascinating tour, and I'm really privileged to have been part of this. Thank you very much. I'm sure.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
I've enjoyed it as well.
Thank you for inviting us.
Katarzyna?
Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, David. And thank you so much to Amal for this wonderful tour. It's been incredible, honestly. All these first edition books, it was a pleasure to take part in this event, to watch it.
Thank you.
And thank you to Kezra for this opportunity. We're looking forward to 2024 events for more exciting opportunities to see all these treasures around the world. We do have an event coming up on Tuesday. So please, lovely people, join us. We've got the title on the screen, Early Modern Islamic Manuscripts and Maps in Chicago. So thank you again, and hopefully see you on Tuesday.
So I'll thank you, Katarzyna, for being incredibly there in the background, and Tom, and Harmesh, obviously our host, a dear friend, and he's done a sterling job. And he was really enthusiastic about this session, and I know after being part of it, he's full of it. Am I right, Harmesh? Absolutely. And thank you sincerely from all the wonderful attendees from right across the world. You're giving us your Sunday. We really, really appreciate it. And for those of you who keep attending, it's a real gratitude. And as I wrote in the chat, if you have any ideas, please do send them to me. I'll put my email in there. And we may well consider them for next year, who knows. So for the moment, thank you again, everybody, and assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and good afternoon. Sat Sri Akal to Harmesh, our host, and assalamu alaikum. And thank you, David, for brilliant.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
Okay.
Our pleasure.
Bye-bye for now, everyone.
Bye now for now.
Thank you, Harmesh. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.